Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am Yolanda Hayes. If you are new to my channel, I am a local realtor in North Carolina. I service the Winston-Salem area primarily. I work the High Point area as well as some parts of Greensboro, Guilford County, as well as Charlotte market by referral. So today's video is going to be another personal finance type question. Type conversation, and I decided to do it on my back patio. It is around 72 degrees right now, and the birds are chirping, the leaves are falling, and I just decided to have a little bit of a different scenery other than upstairs in my office. So, yeah, that's why I am outside. So if you are new to my channel and this is your first time watching one of my videos, I have recently decided to start incorporating topics about personal financing, not just about real estate. So y'all, I'm going to go ahead and create a separate playlist. For those people who do not want to talk about personal financing, you can skip this video, but I'm going to start doing a personal financing playlist just for those who want the personal financing information. So today's topic, and I took some notes that I'm going to just want to hit today, was it's just about having a shift in your mind, like your mindset shifting, and understanding, just because your parents or your grandparents, and now that maybe they didn't have a lot of money, maybe you saw them struggling through your upbringing, maybe you saw your parents arguing about money, maybe heard them on the phone with bill collectors and things like that, or just maybe you yourself have gotten into a situation where you are living check to check. This starts with the mindset. If you want a better life, it has to start with the mindset. So again, I have some notes here. So mentally is what I want to talk about first. So shifting your mind mentally is that, number one, you have to make a choice that you want to have a better life. And then on top of that, you have to be determined to have a better life. You have to have the willpower to make sacrifices. And what I get all the time, in most cases, is that initially, and I'm sorry, y'all, the wind is blowing and it just blew my notes right off, right off my lap. One sec. Okay, so what I get a lot is, people love the idea of having money. They love the idea of not living check to check, but they don't want to do the work. And that's where, the difference between myself and people with that type of mindset. They want something instant, but don't want to do the work. And I have had to separate myself from several people that used to be in my life that were living check to check. And I'm not going to say that I have never been in a situation where I was living check to check. I was definitely in that situation. I've had over $24,000 in credit card debt. I have been there. So I'm not judging anyone. What I decided is that I wanted to have a better life. I did not want to live like that. I didn't want to, basically get a paycheck on Friday and by Monday I was broke because I'm trying to catch up on past due bills. So I decided that I wanted to make some changes in my life. So, and that calls for sacrifices. So be willing to make sacrifices, having willpower and self-control and dedication. So those are the four things that I have here. So determined, be willing to make sacrifices, having willpower and self-control are the same. That's one. And then dedication. Those are things that you definitely want to have in place when you are deciding that you want to change your life. You want a shift in that mindset, and you got to stick to it. You have to have that dedication. You have to have the willpower, because you may have that one friend over here that's saying, let's go on this trip. Let's go eat. let's go do this, let's go do that. You may have, and I'm sorry guys, I got something in my eye. Sorry. You may have that one person in your life or in your ear that's not being that support system that you need, and you have to have the willpower to say no. So that is the first thing that you have to do in order to begin living your best life and changing your mindset, changing your destination, and changing your future, okay? So the next thing is going to be about understanding the difference between a liability and an asset. So, in high school, middle school, wherever, we didn't learn about assets and liabilities. Many of us, especially in the African American community, we were in church quite a bit as well. Between school and church, we didn't learn about financing and personal financing. We didn't learn it from our parents, and again, I'm not saying that all races, are not included in this, but primarily I'm African American, so that's what I'm familiar with. But money was not discussed in my household. If I brought up money, I was told to mind my business. If I asked about a bill, I was told to mind my business. We didn't discuss money in my household. So all the places that I was for the entire part of my upbringing, church, probably 3 times a week, you got Bible study, you got Sunday service, you may have choir rehearsal and usher board meeting. I mean, we were in church quite a bit. So between church, school, and home, money was not discussed. So that's why I am trying my best to educate as many people as I can about this topic. So understanding the difference between a liability and an asset. The easiest way to understand that is a liability takes money out of your pockets, takes money out of your wallet, and an asset contributes to your wallet and put money into your wallet. So a few things that are liabilities, for example, a new car, that's a liability. So many people go out and buy brand new cars, whether it's 2020 now, so it doesn't even matter if it's a 2018. It's still a new car. That's still money coming out of your pocket. So that's a liability. Buying new shoes, buying clothes, buying anything that is going to take money out of your pocket, especially if it's not something that is a need, okay? If you just want these things and you're just buying it just because, that is a liability, okay? An asset is something that is putting money into your pockets. So rental properties. I know I've mentioned before that I own rental properties, and the rent is enough to cover the mortgage, but then it's also some extra money, so that is an asset. Stocks and bonds, those are assets. You have to know the difference between an asset and a liability. So I have a few notes here, and what I'm going to say may be a tough pill to swallow, but it has to be said, okay? So again, if you are new to my channel, go back and watch some of my other personal financing videos so that you can understand that I'm like that big sister, that auntie, that friend that is going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. So if you're offended, I do apologize, but sometimes things need to be said. So some things that are liabilities that may be in your life that you don't realize is a liability could be people, okay? So friends, family, you can have liability human beings. That family member that's always asking you for money, or that friend that say, can I borrow some money from you, but then they don't pay you back. That is a liability. That person is a liability. But I'm going to take it a step further. Women, ladies. I'm talking to women, ladies. Men, that are not your husband, men that are not your husband, if they are not in your life to be an asset, they are a liability. If they are living off of you, you're paying all the bills, you paying the car, you're doing everything, but they are not working, or they're constantly needing something from you, he's a liability. So I know that is a tough pill to swallow. I know you all up in love with him. I know you envisioning, this is my man, we gonna get married. If he is not taking care of you, he is a liability. Okay? So you have to let him go. Love is not going to pay your bills. Love is not going to be there for retirement. You have to let him go and let him find his way, let him get himself together. But if you are allowing a man to live with you and pretty much mooch off of you, he is a liability. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen the other way around either. Men also, if this is not your wife and she does not have it together, now I'm not saying for her to be paying bills, but you also should not be financially 100% taking care of her either. She needs to have her money too. If she's just taking, she's a liability. But I know that it primarily happens with women. Another thing that a lot of people are afraid to talk about or afraid to mention, and unfortunately I have to be the one to bring it up. Church pastors, ministers, I'm sorry, they could be a liability as well. And I'm just going to give examples of what I'm talking about, because I'm not being disrespectful to any pastor or any minister or anything to that nature. What I am concerned about is the amount of money that a lot of people are giving to churches. I mean, how many offerings can you have? Before the coronavirus, a lot of ministers, pastors was having probably, 3 offerings. You got a pastoral offering, you got the usher board offering, you got the children's church offering, you got a building fund. The church been being built for 10 years. I'm just saying, like, then you have, and I know it's not funny, y'all. Then you have the ministers that play on people's emotions. You're not going to be blessed unless you give us all your money. You're not going to be blessed until, so you do one offering, and then the pastor will be like, nah, I think we can do better. I think we can do better. Now the plate going around again, or the services, you going around dropping money in the bucket again. Money that you don't have. Money that you don't have. You done gave all your electric bill money to the church. Your tithing or your givings of 10%, that's all you're required to do. But you also don't have to give 10% to a church. It could be a fundraiser, or organization, a charity. That's still giving back. It does not have to be to a church. I literally have seen ministers during coronavirus asking people for their telling their congregation to give their stimulus checks to the church. A lot of people were out of work, unemployed, and you're asking for their stimulus check. So I'm just saying, churches can be a liability as well. So just be mindful about how much money you're giving to the church, because when you need the church and when you need the pastor, or when you need help financially, is your pastor there for you? Another thing that you want to do is go ahead and educate yourself. You have to take some type of initiative to educate yourself, and you can do that by getting books. You can research online about personal finances. And I'm going to give you guys, I went and got 2 books of my own. So these 2 books really helped me when I decided that I wanted to make changes and I wanted to understand money and how money works. I don't think, I knew it had to be a better way of living in life than dealing with bill collectors. I knew that if I wanted something, I had to know how to get it. So this is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This book you can get right off of Amazon. I enjoyed this book. This will help you understand money so well. And the other book was the Rich Dad Poor Dad series by Robert Kiyosaki. Now, this book right here, I have read this book about 3 times now. I reread it all the time, and it seems like every time I reread this book over and over again, I see something that I missed. I have notes throughout this book. This one right here this book originally was written in 1997. I was just getting out of high school in 95, and Lord knows, I wish I would have read this book. He was actually on Oprah. I think in 98, 90, somewhere in there he was in Oprah, and that's how this book ended up blowing up. But I was not familiar with it. And then I started hearing about it probably about maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I started hearing about the book, but the title Rich Dad Poor Dad did not like really excite me. I'm like, Rich Dad Poor Dad, did he have 2 dads? Like, how did you have both? But I never thought to go ahead and pick it up until one of my friends told me that they had it. So I went ahead and got it, and it completely explains the difference between how one man thought his dad that was his biological father, and then he also had a father figure from one of his good friends that he grew up with, father that was an entrepreneur and knew more about money than his biological dad, and he followed the steps of the father figure. And knowing the difference between assets and liabilities and profit and loss and understanding balance sheets, this is the book that you guys want to get. So you have to take some type of initiative and action to having a better life, and you do want to get some type of guidance. If you know someone who is, maybe you have a friend that is living their best life and you're trying to understand what they're doing, you can go to them. That's what I did. I went ahead and opened my mouth and asked my friends that I knew had good money, and I'm like, Dad, how are they living like this? And they explained to me, and exactly one of my really good friends, that's also a real estate agent. This is how she's been living her life. Let's see, we met probably 12 years ago. We probably met 12 years ago. She's been living like this before we met. Now, she didn't mention anything to me. I'm like, I didn't ask her about her finances, and she didn't say anything to me about it because she chose to not talk about money unless you bring it up first. So once I started telling her I was reading this book, we talk probably every other day. She is my accountability partner to make sure I'm contributing money to my Roth IRA, making sure that I'm paying off any debts. So I have an accountability partner that keeps me on track. So that's something that you definitely want to do. So the last thing is just about reducing any liabilities. You have to start somewhere. So I would say to write out everything. I know some people don't want to see it. You don't want to see it. But in order for you to get started, you have to see it. You have to face it. Write out all of your liabilities. Write out all of your debt. And you have to start chipping away. Start at the one that's the highest and just start chipping away at it. You have to make a list of what you can sacrifice. Even if you have to go and get extra money, maybe you have to get a part-time job. Maybe you have to create an online business to have additional income coming in. That's just something that you have to do in order to have money coming in to pay off the liabilities. Okay, so I hope this helps you guys. I really hope that these financial personal financing tips and videos that I'm going to be doing is helpful for you guys. Make sure you comment down below and just let me know. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to try to weekly do one of these videos, but I'm also going to go ahead and also try to insert the real estate videos as well. I may even do a real estate video right after this one, so if you guys see me in the same shirt, I'm just doing another video and knocking out 2 of them in the same day. But make sure you subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. Make sure you go ahead and comment down below, interact with me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.